Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to tonight's matchup. Tonight's matchup will be between the Rapid City Christian Comets and the Hot Springs Lady Bisons. We are in tournament time, both teams looking for a win to be able to advance to the next round to play Hill City, and both teams trying to get to the state tournament. Tonight, starting for the Rapid City Christian Lady Comets, number 1 Riley Freeland, number 2 Abby Pierce, number 3 Tori Allstill, number 7 Olivia Kiefer, number 11 Rebecca Morgan, number 13 Kayla Cluley. Alright, Lady Bisons will serve up. Serve is over. Bumped by Abby Pierce to the setter Riley Freeland. Hit over by Olivia Kiefer. 2 will come over. Olivia Kiefer with the dig. Ball goes over, but just out. Lady Bisons will strike first. Serving for the Bisons is number 8, Adriana Crush. And she will bring serve number 2. Service dug, Abby Pierce to Riley Freeland to Allstill. And there'll be 4 hits on the Lady Bison side for a side out to the Lady Comets. Into the game for the Comets is number 14, Abigail Chris. Serving for the Comets, number 3, Tori Allstill. First serve is over, and it's a good one. And Bisons come over. Morgan sets to Freeland. Freeland to Kiefer. And the ball will be hit over for a score to the Bisons. Your side out to them. Your score is 2-1, Lady Bisons. Back to serve for the Bisons is number 9, Tyler Warner. Serve up and over, Abigail Chris sets to Freeland to Cluley. And the hit will be just out on the sideline. Score to the Bisons. Serve number 2 by Warner, up and over. Bump by Morgan to Freeland to Kiefer. The hit will find their mark. Tipped out, score to the Lady Comets. Score 2-3 in the first set. If you're just joining us, Riley Freeland will serve for the Comets. Her serve will be over. Bump to setter over. Block on the front by the Comets by Kayla Cluley to fall in. 3-3 is your score. Riley Freeland back to serve her second. Will find its mark for an ace. Ace for the Comets. Freeland back to serve. He'll come over. Ball hit to the setter in the back area. They will not be able to handle it. Score to the Lady Comets. Good hit in the back and saved, but just wasn't able to get the ball quite over. Freeland come back. Her serve will be just over the net. A sticker found the top and was just able to get over. Those are hard to handle. Score 6-3, Lady Comets. Freeland on a bit of a heater here. Serve again. Back row tipped out. And another point for the Lady Comets. Score is 7-3. Several points put up here by Riley Freeland. Ball served up and over. Kiefer will bump to Freeland. Freeland to Chris. Back row tips, sets, and will fall just in front of the net for a point to the Lady Comets. Great job by Warner in the back. Just couldn't get it over. Freeland's serve is going to be over and in. Setter hits, but ball will just go out on the side around the scores table for another point to the Lady Comets. Into the game for the Lady Bisons is number 2, Tiara Schroeder. In for Crush. Serve up by Freeland. Will be in. Back row brings it to number 3. He'll be able to save it. Chris sets to Freeland. Freeland to the back row to Allstill. Great dig by the Bisons. And Kiefer catches at the net, and the ball will find its mark. Close on the side. Line judge calls it in for a point to the Lady Comets. Or excuse me, that will be out. Official pointed wrong way. Serve for the Bisons comes and finds its mark. Score to the Lady Bisons. Previous play was close on the line. Ball be up and over. Kiefer to Freeland. Freeland to Kiefer. Cluley will hit just out in the back area for a point to the Lady Bisons. Serving for the Lady Bisons, number 14, Caitlin Harris. Score is 9-6 with the Comets leading. Ball over for Harris. Morgan to Allstill. Allstill to Morgan. She'll have a lob, just gets it over. Cluley on the middle of the net, and she'll be able to drop it in for a score to the Lady Comets. Great job by the middle hitter, Kayla Cluley, being there for the block. Back to serve for the Lady Comets, number 7, Olivia Kiefer. Great serve for an ace to the Comets. A little bit of miscommunication in the back row there. Score 11-6, Comets leading. Kiefer second serve up and in. Great dig by back row. Cluley on the middle. She'll be there for a hit. Score to the Lady Comets. Great read by the 6'3" senior. Serve number 3 for Kiefer. Up and over. Back row to the setter. Setter to number 1. Great hit there. Morgan digs. Allstill saves and tipped over by Freeland. Great save on that one. She went into the stands to get it over. Freeland to Chris. Chris to Cluley. Block on the front. Official will have them in the net. Calls the senior Julia Russell in the net. Point will go to the Comets. Great save by the Comets. Kiefer, serve up and good. Tipped, dig, and point to the Comets. (14-6) is your score. Comets leading. There will be a substitution. Number 11, Brooke Harkless, in for number 9, Tyler Warner. Olivia Kiefer serve will be in. Back row bump to the setter. Setter to number 1. Hit deep to Allstill. Allstill bumps to Freeland. Freeland to Morgan. Saved by the back row. Cluley. Big hit in the middle again. Kayla Cluley being a monster in the middle. We'll have a timeout called by the Lady Bisons. Their first timeout. Your score is 15-6. Comets leading. Great job by the middle hitter for the Comets, Kayla Cluley. 3 or 4 big reads right there in the middle. She was able to come up with. If you are just joining us, we are out of the first timeout called by the Lady Bisons. Your score is 15-6, Comets leading. Olivia Kiefer's serve is going to be over and good. Back row to the setter, setter to the hitter, and the call will be out. It was a question of whether there was a tip there or not. Officials say there was not. Kiefer's next serve for the Comets will be in. Great dig by the back, but it'll be just out on the side. Point to the Lady Comets. Olivia Kiefer's serve is over and good. Into the net. And they won't be able to recover. Point will go to the Lady Comets. Olivia Kiefer, next serve will be good for an ace. Back row to, we have a substitution for the Lady Bisons, number 15, and for number 11, Brooke Harkless. Serve up and over, and will not be handled. Ball goes out on the side. Point to the Comets. Score 20-6 for the Lady Comets in the first set. Kiefer's next serve to the back row, and a block by the Lady Comets. 13, Kayla Cluley, and number 11, Rebecca Morgan for the double. Kiefer up, over, back row to the setter. Hit, all still to Freeland, Freeland to Morgan. Big hit by Morgan, dug by the back row. To 1 and over in 3, Riley. Freeland sets to Chris, Chris to Morgan, Morgan with the lob, just over. Little rolling tip there, falls in for the Comets. Your score now 22-6. Olivia Kiefer serve, this one will be over and good for another ace. A lot of energy being shown tonight by the Comets. Great serving so far. Being displayed by the 8th grader, number 7, Olivia Kiefer. Next serve for her will be up and over. Back row to the setter. Setter to the hitter. Big hit, but the ball will be just out of bounds in the back row, bringing us to game point in the first set. Kiefer, ball up and over. Back row to the setter. Setter to the hitter. Rolling tip will be just short, not enough to get over. And the set will go to the Lady Comets for a score of 25-6. A lot of energy coming out into the game for the Lady Comets. A lot displayed by the front row and the middle hitter, Kayla Cluley, with outstanding serving displayed by Olivia Kiefer and Riley Freeland. I want to take a moment to share with you leadership you can believe in. Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in South Dakota. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, and being a good role model. It's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports, they're so much more than just a game. This message is presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. For those of us who are just joining us in the live stream, we are getting ready to begin set number 2 in tonight's matchup between the Rapid City Rapid City Christian Lady Comets and the Hot Springs Lady Bisons. First set went to the Comets with a score of 25-6. So score is 1-0 as far as sets. And starting set number 2, looks like the Lady Comets will begin in serving, starting with number 3, Tori Allstill. First serve up and over, back row bumps over, Cluley hits. Ball's in, Cluley tries to block, doesn't get a hand on it. Hit to Chris, big block by the Lady Bisons, but it'll fall just outside of the boundary line for the first point going to the Lady Comets. Allstill second serve, comes to the back row, and she'll be called with a lift, point to the Lady Comets. Allstill third serve. Ball is over, dug by the senior in the back row to the setter. A little bit of miscommunication there, and a point will go to the Lady Comets. Falls just between number 14, Caitlin Harris, and number 5, Madison Gissy. Allstill fourth serve, back row. Great effort by the senior Julia Russell, but she will not be able to get to it after it's hit by number 7, Mary Lane. Score 4-0 in the second set. Lady Comets leading. Allstill's fifth serve will be just out of bounds for a side out to the Lady Bisons. Serving for the Lady Bisons, number 5, Madison Gacy. Allstill digs to Freeland, Freeland to Kiefer. Dug and saved in the net, tipped over. Morgan to Freeland, Freeland to Kiefer. Big hit by Kiefer. And the officials will have one of the front row Lady Bisons in the net for a point to the Lady Comets. Into the game for the Lady Comets, number 14, Abigail Chris, replacing number 2, Abby Pierce. Back to serve for the Comets, number 1, Riley Freeland. That serve is good for an ace. Ball found the back corner in the senior Julia Russell. She got a hand on it, but just not enough to bring it to the front. Score 6-1, Lady Comets leading. Freeland back to serve her second in the second set. Great serve, just falls over the net into the back row for an ace to the Lady Comets. Into the game for the Lady Bisons, number 2, Tiara Schroeder, replacing number 1, Julia Russell. Freeland, who had a great first set serving-wise, is continuing to display that in the second set. Her next one comes up to the back row, hit to number 5 to 10, and she'll be just short into the net for a point to the Lady Comets. Freeland's next serve, found its mark, dug in the back to the front. Over onto the Comet side, dug by Morgan to Freeland to Kiefer, and she'll have the hit on the front row for a point to the Lady Comets. Hard to believe she is just an 8th grader. Freeland's next hit, dug into the back row to the setter, setter to the front row, tipped by Cluley to Freeland, tipped to Chris. They try to back row attack to Morgan, but it'll fall just short into the net for a point to the Lady Bisons. Subbing into the game for the Lady Bisons is number 8, Adriana Crush, replacing number 10, Bailey Farabee. Serve comes over, dug by Allstill to Freeland, Freeland to Chris, hit to the back row to the setter, setter to the front. Big hit, but it'll be just out of bounds in the back area. Point to the Lady Comets for a side out. Score in set 2 is 10-2 with the Lady Comets leading. Kiefer serving for the Comets. First serve to the back row is good to the setter, setter to the hitter. Mishandled on the front row by the Lady Comets. Point will go to the Lady Bisons. Abigail Chris got a hand on it, just wasn't able to quite get it over the top. Back to serve for the Lady Bisons. Ball's over, dug by Kiefer. Kiefer to Allstill. She'll go the opposite way. Morgan tries to get it, but she'll fall just short. Great effort by number 11, Rebecca Morgan. You couldn't see, she was in the deep corner when she hit that ball. Fell just short of the net right in front of the official in the stand. Serve over for the Bisons, dug by Allstill. Allstill to Freeland. Freeland to Cluley. She'll hit, back row digs to the setter. Setter to the hitter, and be just short for the Bisons. Point will go to the Lady Comets. Hard to handle ball there by the senior, Julia Russell. Great effort displayed by her. Serving for the Comets is Kayla Cluley. Her first serve, the whistle will be killed due to an error in rotation by the Bisons, so point to the Lady Comets. First real serve by Cluley comes, it is good, dug by the back row to the setter, setter to the senior Russell, and it will fall in for a point to the Lady Bisons. Side out, serving for the Bisons, number 6, Mallory Alstad. Her serve will be in, dug by Morgan, Morgan to Freeland, Freeland to Allstill. Big hit by Tori Allstill. Falls just right in the corner. Substituting for the Comets, number 2, Abby Pierce, replacing number 14, Abigail Chris. Abby Pierce to the back to serve for the Lady Comets. Her first serve's up, and it will be in. Back row digs to the setter, setter to the hitter. Ball hit, tipped by the senior Kayla Cluley, and out of bounds, point to the Lady Bisons. Substituting into the game for the Bisons is number 10, Bailey Farabee. Replacing number 8, Adriana Crush. Serving for the Bisons, number 1, Russell. Dug in the back row by Kiefer. Kiefer to Morgan to Freeland. Point will go to the Lady Comets. Morgan serves, it's a sticker on the net. Comes over, Russell displays a lot of effort trying to get there, but just falls short. Score is 15-6 with the Lady Comets leading. Back to serve, Rebecca Morgan. Next hit, up and over, dug back row. It's going to be on the net. Block attempt by Allstill, tipped by Freeland. Good effort by the Comets. Abby Pierce getting the ball over on the third hit. Ball hit over by the Lady Bisons. Pierce to Freeland. Freeland knocks over. Setter goes to the hitter. She'll try to tip on the far side. Won't be able to get it in. Point to the Lady Comets. 16-6 is your score in the second set with the Lady Comets leading this match. Morgan up to serve. Ball sticks, but will go out of bounds. Point to the Lady Bisons. She got the sticker in on the last one, but wasn't quite able to get it on this one. Serving for the Lady Bisons, number 3, Jaden Walton. Serve is up, it's going to be deep, and it will go out. Side out to the Lady Comets. Into the game for the Lady Bisons, number 7, Mary Lane, the libero. Allstill back to serve for the Lady Comets. Hit finds its mark in the middle, point to the Lady Bisons. Another substitution for the Lady Bisons, number 2, Tiara Schroeder, replacing number 1, Julia Russell. Tori Allstill, your server for the Lady Comets. Up by Allstill, and the ball will be just on the other side of the line. Close call there by the line judge. Point will go to the Lady Bisons. 18-8 your score, with Comets leading. Serve for the Bisons, dug by Morgan. Morgan to Freeland. Freeland to Kiefer. And a block on the front by number 7, Olivia Kiefer. Point to the Lady Comets. Subbing back into the game for the Comets, number 14, Abigail Chris, replacing number 2, Abby Pierce. And back to serve for the Lady Comets, number 1, Riley Freeland. First serve will be up, dug by the back row to the setter, setter to the middle hitter. She'll tip in, Freeland to Chris, Chris to Allstill. And 4 hits will be called against the Lady Comets. Point to the Lady Bisons. 2 subbing in, number 8, Adriana Crush, and number 1, Julia Russell for the Lady Bisons. Back to serve for the Bisons, number 8, Adriana Crush. Her serve is up. It's going to be good. Dug by Morgan. Morgan to Freeland. Freeland to Chris. Chris to the libero. Libero back over to Freeland. Freeland to Chris. Set to the back row. Morgan. Hit to libero on the Bison side. Bisons. 3 and over. Kiefer to Freeland. Freeland back to Kiefer. Hit to the back row. Libero digs to the setter. Setter to Russell. Russell hits. Tip. Dug by Morgan. Freeland hit to the back row. Saved by Allstill. Front row digs to the setter, to the hitter and over. Freeland digs. Morgan to Allstill. Allstill will mishandle it. Great volley there. Point will go to the Lady Bisons. Score is 19-10 with the Lady Comets leading. Served by Crush for the Bisons. Up and over. Dug by Allstill. Allstill to Morgan. Morgan to Kiefer. Libero to the middle to the back, dug by Allstill. Allstill to Freeland. Freeland back to Allstill. Kill from the back row, dug by the middle. Hit to the front and will fall just short by the middle hitter. Number 14, Caitlin Harris. Great volley there as well. 20-10 your score in the second set. Lady Comets leading. Serving for the Comets, number 7, Olivia Kiefer. Dug by Russell. Russell to the front row. Back to Harris. Harris over to Freeland. Freeland to Chris. Over to Freeland. Freeland to Chris. To Morgan. Great block by the Bisons. Point to the Lady Bisons. And they will be charged with crossing the midline. Back to serve for the Lady Bisons, number 14, Caitlin Harris. Serve up and over. Allstill digs to Cluley. Cluley into Morgan. Morgan saves over Harris. To Gacy. Gacy to number 3, Jaden Walton for a tip in for the Bisons. Great job by the freshman there with a good read. And a point will be called against the Lady Comets for a rotation problem. Timeout will be called by the Lady Comets. Take a moment to read you, no doubt about it. The debate about sports specialization by high school athletes continues. Some argue that high school athletes who play one sport all year long have a better chance of landing a lucrative pro contract. But that's simply not true. In fact, 30 of the 32 first-round picks in last year's NFL draft played more than one sport in high school. Of the 32 players drafted, 22 also participated in high school track and field. 19 also played basketball, and some also played baseball and lacrosse. What's the path to success for high school athletes here in South Dakota? No matter what their goals might be, study hard, always do your best, and if you can, play more than one sport in high school. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and South Dakota Interscholastic Athlete Administrators Association. Back to the action. 20-13 is your score. Lady Comets leading. Serve for the Bisons will be a hard hit one, but out of bounds in the back. Into the game for the Bisons, the libero, number 7, Mary Lane, replacing number 14, Caitlin Harris. Serving for the Comets, number 14, Kayla Cluley, dug by the libero. Hit over by the libero to back row. Kiefer digs to Freeland. Freeland to Morgan. Hits to the middle, dug by the back row. Tipped over by number 5, Madison Gacy, but the Comets will be called in the net for a point to the Lady Bisons. 21-14, your score in the second set. Serve is over for the Bisons, dug by Morgan to Freeland, hit over by Chris, dug by the back row, set in the front row, tipped over, Freeland digs, Chris sets to Allstill, Allstill to libero. Setter hits over. Freeland tries to dig. Is not going to be able to get there. Point to the Lady Bisons. Bisons showing that they are alive here in the second set, battling back. Number 6, Mallory Allstad serving. Her serve will be over and good. Kiefer to Freeland. Freeland to Allstill. Big hit by Tori Allstill. Big hit by Tori Allstill will find her mark. Point to the Lady Comets. Back into the game for the Lady Comets. Number 2, Abby Pierce, replacing number 14, Abigail Chris. Serving is Abby Pierce. Serve up, will be over. Hard hit serve. Dug in the back row. Setter hits over. Freeland tries to put it over herself, but will be just out of bounds on the side. Subbing back into the game for the Lady Bisons, number 10, Bailey Farabee. Serving for the Bisons, number 1, Julia Russell. Her serve is up, over, dug by Pierce. But it will be over the net and out of bounds. Point to the Lady Bisons. 22-17 your score in the second set. Comets leading. Served by Russell, up and over, dug by Pierce. Pierce to Morgan. Morgan to Freeland. Big hit by Morgan, dug by the libero to the setter. And will not be able to be handled in the front for the Lady Bisons. Point to the Comets. 23-17 is your score in the second set. Back to serve for the Lady Comets is Rebecca Morgan. Serve is up, over, dug in the back row to the setter. Setter to the front, big hit. Big hit in the front, but ball will fall just out. Bisons wanting a tip called there. They will not get one. Game point. Served by Morgan, dug by the libero. Libero to the middle, set. Big hit on the front row. Blocked by the Comets. And hit by Kiefer. Will it be in? Yes, it will. That ball was right on the line. And the Comets will take the second set, 25-17. Great rally there by the Lady Bisons to make that a much more interesting second set. For those of you who are just joining the live stream, the first set was won by the Lady Comets, score of 25-6. And the second set was also taken by the Lady Comets with a score of 25-17. As a previous coach and official, it's always an emotional time to watch these games once you get to this point in the season. Seniors who are battling, fighting, doing their best to make sure that this is not their last volleyball game. And we are seeing a tremendous effort tonight by our seniors being played. First set, we saw a dominant performance in the middle by Kayla Cluley. Great reads. And we are seeing a lot of effort displayed tonight on the Lady Bison side as well. If you're just joining us, we're getting ready to start the third set of tonight's matchup between the Lady Comets and the Hot Springs Lady Bisons. First two were taken by the Lady Comets. If the Bisons answer, we will go another one. Serve will go to the Bisons first, dug by Morgan. Morgan to Allstill. Allstill hits. Will be tipped by number 5, Madison Gacy, but she will not be able to get it back over. The Comets will strike first. First server for the Comets in set 3 will be number 3, Tori Allstill. Her serve up and good, dug by the libero. Libero to the setter. Setter to Gacy. Over. Pierce hits to the setter. Setter to Kiefer. Dug by the libero. Libero to the hitter, tipped over. Morgan sets to Freeland. Freeland to Kiefer. And Kiefer will be blocked by Mallory Alstad on the net. Subbing back into the game for the Lady Bisons, number 8, Adriana Crush to serve. Score 1-1 in the third set. Crush's serve is up. Will be over and good. Dug by Morgan. Morgan to Freeland. Freeland set to Kiefer. Big hit by Olivia Kiefer. It fell in, but the Bisons were also called in the net. Back into the game for the Lady Comets, number 14, Abigail Chris, replacing number 2, Abby Pierce. Back to serve for the Comets, number 1, Riley Freeland. Serve up, over, dug by Libero. Libero to Russell. Russell to Gacy. She'll tip over. Freeland sets to Chris. Chris to Kiefer, a little low. They'll get it over. And another great read by number 6, Mallory Alstad. For a tip over and in for the Bisons. Into the game for the Bisons. Number 3, Jaden Walton, replacing the libero, Mary Lane. Caitlin Harris's serve for the Bisons up, over, dug by Kiefer. Kiefer dug by Freeland with Morgan getting it over. Back row to the setter, setter to Russell. Big hit by Russell, but big block by Kayla Cluley. Set to Kiefer. Kiefer hits, back row digs. Gacy tips to Walton. Walton to Kiefer. Kiefer to Freeland, set to Cluley. Big hit by Cluley, dug by back row. Gacy to Russell, and she will not be able to get it over. In her defense, that ball was out of bounds. She put up a tremendous effort trying to get there, but had to hit across her body, not able to get it in. Serve up for Kiefer, and will not make it over the net. Point to the Lady Bisons. 3-3 your score here in the third set. Back to serve for the Lady Bisons, number 3, Jaden Walton. Or excuse me, number 6, Mallory Alstad. Her serve will fall short into the net as well. Point to the Lady Comets. Back to serve for the Lady Comets, number 13, Kayla Cluley. Serve up, over, good, and it will find the line. Point to the Lady Comets. That one just found the back line. Score 5-3, Comets leading in the third set. Kayla Cluley, serve up, and will fall in. Dug by the back row. Back row, miscommunication by Alstad and Gacy. Point to the Lady Comets. Both of them were there, but both of them expected the other to have it. Kayla Cluley, next serve up, and will be a sticker. Gets over the net, dug by the front row to Russell. Big hit by the junior, Julia Russell. She finds the back corner. Point to the Lady Bisons. Into the game for the Lady Bisons, number 10, Bailey Farabee. Back to serve, number 1, Julia Russell, after her hard hit. Serve up and over, but in the net, right at the top of the net. Thought we were going to have a sticker there, but it will not make it over. Back into the game for the Comets, number 2, Abby Pierce, back to serve. 7-4 your score, Comets leading. Abby Pierce, serve up, and it will be out. But a little too much air under that one. Side out to the Lady Bisons. Back into the game for the Bisons. Number 14, Caitlin Harris, replacing the libero. Back to serve. This time will be number 3, Jaden Walton. Her serve is up, and it will be out as well. Back to serve for the Lady Comets, number 11, Rebecca Morgan. Dug by Russell. Russell the back row, hit over by Russell. Morgan digs to Freeland. Freeland sets to Kiefer. Big hit and block. All still sets. Blocked on the front row. All still hits over. Libero saves to Gacy. Gacy over to Pierce. Pierce to Freeland. Sets to Kiefer. Tipped. Dug by the libero. And hit over by Gacy. Dug in the back row by Pierce. Pierce to Freeland. To Allstill. Dug by Gacy. Gacy to Russell. Russell back to Gacy. Over Tipped by Pierce. Pierce set to Freeland. Freeland to Kiefer. But the Lady Bisons will be called in the net for a point to the Comets. The ball did go out of bounds, but the Lady Bison front row was called in the net. Point to the Comets. Number 11, Morgan hits and dug by Libero. Gets up into the rafters. Those are difficult to handle. They weren't able to get a hand on it. Point will go to the Lady Comets. 10-5 is your score in the third set, with the Lady Comets leading. Still serving for the Comets, number 11, Rebecca Morgan. Her next serve up and over, dug by the back row. Gacy catches it on the front and over. Morgan. Attempt there in the back row by Rebecca Morgan, looking for Kiefer, but the ball will fall just short. Point to the Lady Bisons. Serving for the Bisons, number 5, Madison Gessie. Dug by Morgan in the back row to Freeland. Freeland all still. And another call of the Lady Bisons in the net. Point will go to the Lady Comets. That's 2 we've seen called against the Bisons in the last few. Back to serve for the Comets, number 3, Tori Allstill. Her serve will be in the net. Side out to the Bisons, into the game for the Bisons. Number 8, Adriana Crush, back to serve. Crush, her serve will be up, will be in, dug by Morgan. Morgan to Freeland, Freeland to Cluley. Hit and in. Point to the Lady Comets, back into the game for the Comets. Number 14, Abigail Chris, replacing number 2, Abby Pierce. Back to serve for the Lady Comets, number 1, Riley Freeland. Had a very good night serving for the Lady Comets. Scored 12-7, Comets leading. Freeland serve. I may have jinxed her, folks. That serve will be in the net. Point to the Lady Bisons. 12-8 is your score, with the Lady Comets leading. Back to serve for the Bisons, Caitlin Harris. Serve will be up good, dug by Allstill. Allstill to Freeland. Freeland to Kiefer. Rolling tip will be dug to the front row and will not be able to hit over for a score. Ball will be just in the net. Point to the Lady Comets. Back to serve for the Comets is number 7, Olivia Kiefer. Her serve will be up and good, dug by the Libero. Libero to Gacy. Gacy to Russell. She hits in, dug by Morgan. Morgan to Freeland. Freeland to Chris. And will fall in. Ball, Bisons were able to get a hand on the net, but falls just short of the back row. Kiefer's next serve will be up and good, dug by the Libero, Mary Lane. An attempt at a save by Allstat. She won't be able to get there. Point will go to the Lady Comets. Great effort on the side there by number 6, Mary Allstad, but she just will not be able to get there and get it back to her team. Replacing Allstad in the game is number 2, Tiara Schroeder. Next serve up for the Comets will be up and in, dug by Mary Lane. Mary Lane to Gacy. Gacy to Warner. Dug by Morgan. Morgan to Freeland. Freeland back to Morgan. Big hit, and it will find the corner. Point to the Lady Comets. Big hit across court by number 11, Rebecca Morgan. 16-8 your score. Comets leading in the third set. Next serve by Kiefer will be up and over. Dug by Mary Lane. Gacy, rolling tip in the middle. Chris to Freeland. Freeland back to Morgan. Saved by Russell. Tipped over by Gacy. All still to Freeland. Freeland to Cluley. And there will be a tip by Russell, and it'll fall just short of number 8, Adriana Crush. Big dive, great effort by Adriana Crush. Will be just short. Point will go to the Lady Comets. Timeout called by Hot Springs Lady Bisons. Their first timeout in the third set. For those of you who are just joining us in tonight's matchup, the first 2 sets were taken by the Lady Comets. We are in the third set. with a score of 17-8, Lady Comets leading. And in our first timeout called by the Hot Springs Lady Bisons. I want to give a big shout out tonight to the best cameraman in the biz, Adam Courtney, running our cameras tonight. And we are back out of the timeout called by the Lady Bisons. Back still serving for the Lady Comets. Number 7, Olivia Kiefer. Back into the game for the Bisons is number 6, Mallory Allstad. Replacing number 2, Tiara Schroeder. And here we go. Served by Kiefer. Ball up and in. Dug by the back row. Back row to Gacy. Gacy to Russell. Big hit. Big hit. It'll be out, but the Lady Comets will be called in the net or over the line. Point will actually go to the Lady Bisons. Serve for the Bisons, up over, dug by Allstill, Allstill to Freeland, Freeland to Morgan. Big hit by Morgan, big block on the front. Back to Russell, she rolling, tips. Chris, bent blocked back by Russell, dug by Cluley, hit by Morgan. She'll find the back left corner. Point to the Lady Comets. Great volley there. Great effort shown by the Lady Bison front row, several blocks. Ultimately, Morgan finds the hole in the back left gap. Serving for the Comets, Kayla Cluley, up and over. Handled by the back row, Russell to Gacy. Gacy over to Freeland. Freeland to Chris, sets to Morgan. Allstill will get the ball over. Dug by the middle row. Gacy sets to Russell. Big hit by Russell, will be just short in the net. Point to the Lady Comets. Substitution for the Bisons into the game, number 9. Tyler Warner, replacing number 1, Julia Russell. Still serving for the Comets, number 13, Kayla Cluley. Her serve will be up, over, dug by Libero. Libero to Gacy. Gacy set to the middle hitter. Will be over, Morgan digs. Freeland sets back to Morgan. Big hit, and it'll be out. Number 11, Rebecca Morgan, put a lot of air under that ball. We'll have 2 more substitutions for the Lady Bisons. Back in, number 10, Bailey Farabee, and number 1, Julia Russell. Will be back to serve for the Bisons. Russell serve is up. Will be over, dug by Morgan, saved by Chris. Morgan hits over, Libero to Gacy. Gacy sets to Farabee. Dug by Kiefer, but the ball will be just out of bounds. Point to the Lady Bisons. 19-11 is your score in the third set with the Comets leading. Second serve for Russell will be up, over, dug by Cluley. Cluley to Chris. Chris to Allstill. Dug by Libero. Libero to Gacy. Hit by Farabee. And there was a block by Abigail Chris, but the ball will be tipped and out. Point to the Lady Bisons. Third serve by Russell. Up and over. Dug by Kiefer. Saved by Freeland, but it'll fall just short. Point to the Lady Bisons. 19-13 your score. Comets leading. Russell, next serve, up and over. Dug by Kiefer. She'll mishandle it in the back row. Another point to the Lady Bisons. Timeout will be called by the Lady Comets, their first of the third set. Little rally being displayed by the Lady Bisons. Great serving being done by the junior, number 1, Julia Russell. Some great serves to the back row. For those of you just joining us tonight, we are in the third set in tonight's matchup between the Rapid City Christian Lady Comets and the Hot Springs Lady Bisons. This is going to be it for one of these teams tonight. So far, the Comets have come out on top in the first 2 sets and are leading 19-14 in set number 3. But a timeout called by Coach Cantrell of the Comets, hoping to ice the great serving efforts of the junior number 1, Julia Russell. Back now, Julia Russell's serve will be dug by Cluley over to Libero. Libero to Gacy, set to Farabee. Dug by Morgan, Morgan to Freeland, set back to Morgan. Be tipped in the front row to Gacy, Gacy to Farabee. Another big hit. Saved by the Comets. Back over to the Bisons. Gacy sets to Farabee again, hit and blocked. Set by Freeland, Freeland to Kiefer, back to Morgan. Saved by Russell, hit by Warner. Over by Gacy. Cluley sets to Freeland. Freeland to Allstill. Dug back by Russell. Set at the front to Allstill. Saved by Gacy on the middle. And the Lady Bisons will win the victory on the front row. Great volley there. Big time battle between number 3, Jaden Walton, and number 3, Tori Allstill. Both number 3s battling it out. That one won by the Lady Bisons. Serve for Russell will be up and over. Set to Tori Allstill. Big hit! Allstill answers. She's a little frustrated on that last one. She was able to take it out with a big hit. Point to the Lady Comets. Back into the game for the Lady Comets. Number 2, Abby Pierce, replacing number 14, Abigail Chris. Serve for Pierce will be up, over, dug by middle row. Will not be handled. Ace to the Comets. Subbing back into the game for the Lady Bisons, number 2, Tiara Schroeder, replacing number 6, Mallory Allstad. Score 21-15 with the Lady Comets leading. Second serve for Abby Pierce, up, and it's a bullet handled by Russell and hit back by number 1, Riley Freeland, for a point to the Lady Comets. And the Lady Bisons will want a timeout, their last of the 3rd set. That serve there by Pierce was a bullet, handled well by Pierce. That was sent back with some ferocity within itself, and Freeland will be able to send it back. Great volleyball being played here. And we're back out of the timeout called by the Hot Springs Lady Bisons, their second of the 3rd set. Score 22-15 with the Lady Comets leading. Abby Pierce back to serve for the Lady Comets. Comets 3 away from taking the victory and moving on to the next round. Abby Pierce's serve will be up, but it will be in the net. Point to the Lady Bisons. 22-16, Lady Comets leading. Back to serve for the Bisons, number 3, Jaden Walton. Her serve will be up and will fall just out of bounds in the back. Side out to the Comets. Score 23-16. Serving for the Lady Comets, number 11, Rebecca Morgan. Her serve will be up. It will be in. Dug by the libero, Mary Lane. Hit by Gacy. Gacy to Farabee. Tipped on the front row by Freeland, but that ball will fall into the middle for a point to the Lady Bisons. Stepping back into the game for the Lady Bisons, number 6, Mallory Allstad, replacing number 2, Tiara Schroeder. Back to serve for the Bisons, Madison Gacy. Her serve will be up, over, dug by Pierce. Pierce to Morgan to Kiefer. Ball was tipped on the front, but another Lady Bison will not be able to get to it. Point to the Lady Comets. Game point serve. Number 3, Tori Allstill will be serving for the Lady Comets. Her serve up, over, dug by Mary Lane to Gacy. Gacy to Farabee. She tips over. Kiefer hits on the front. It finds its mark. Lady Comets will win tonight's matchup against the Lady Bisons. 25-17 is your score in the third set, for a score of 25-6 in set 1. Score 25-17 in set 2, and score 25-17 in set 3. Great night of volleyball, and we wish our Lady Comets the best of luck in Thursday's matchup against Hill City. Thank you for tuning in with us.